Indian School podcast. Today we are in Mohali and I have with me Mrs. Vandana Saxena, who is the principal of Learning Path School Mohali, and Mr. Robin Aggarwal, who is the director of Learning Path School. So welcome sir and welcome ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Welcome. So we just go into a deep dive into your childhood. What was your schooling like? What shaped you as a person? Because we get to see a lot of you and who are you as an educator, as a leader, with the years of experience that you all have had. But we don't know much about your childhood. So we'll start with your schooling. We'll start with the very basic. Where did you grow up? Where was your schooling like? And what was your childhood like?
My childhood was very, very adventurous. I've changed 7 schools. My father used to be in the Air Force. So I was born in Delhi. And I went to a play school in Delhi. Then I was in Halwara. It was all central schools for me. Then we came to Nagpur. Then we came to Kalaikunda. And then finally back to Delhi again. So it was very interesting because studying in a central school, you meet children from all walks of life.
Yes.
And half the time I was studying Marathi. Then I was doing Bengali. By the time I got comfortable with the school and a group of friends, we moved.
Okay.
So my childhood, I got used to breaking away with friends and making new friends very quickly. Not to say that there wasn't heartbreak when we left one station. And yes, it was sometimes we were in a big city, sometimes we were closer to a village. So it was very interesting.
That's the story with a lot of military and army kids that they move around. And so, do you think by that basic reason, all the kids become extrovert because they have to keep making new friends everywhere in every new place? Do you think that?
So actually being an extrovert and introvert is a very personal quality. But I think what we become is a very adaptable, and we are not very clingy. We are not we know that change is the way of life, and so we and then another thing is we're I think non-judgmental, because we've interacted with multiple kinds of people from different cultures, and the diversity does help. Being extrovert, yeah, maybe to an extent, because every 3 years we had to make new friends. So then by virtue of that, yeah, we became extroverts that way.
So what about you?
So I grew up in Chandigarh, but I also, been to 5 schools in Chandigarh, because at that point of time, schools were not nursery to 12th. Right? So again, every 3 years or 8 years, I had to move out to different schools. So, all my basic education was around holistic education. Right? That's a school that I went to. That's the culture of the school where I went. And that's kind of culture we've tried to imbibe at Learning Path School. That, academic is very, very important, but your co-curriculars and your sports and your emotional resilience will take you further in life beyond academics. Right? So I've been born in Chandigarh. So I'm now running school in Chandigarh. And so I know a lot of people, so a lot of friends all around. But schooling at that point of time was much, much different. Parents' expectations were much different from school, and the teachers and the overall environment around schools was much different than what we have right now.
So we have 2 different sets of schoolings. One is within the same city, you spent a lot of time, and you. So describe your school friends gang. It will be very interesting to know, because you obviously had a lot of different friends in different cities, and you might have a lot of friends in Chandigarh. And how does it work? Can you describe your school friends gang right now?
So I have 2 prominent school friends, group of school friends, and somehow, because I run a school in Mohali, and my schooling was also in Mohali, so a lot of my friends' kids are in my school now.
Okay.
So that adds a very different element to my friendship now. But I am in touch with a good amount of people from my school, and partly because Chandigarh is a small city, and partly I'm in the education sector, so that also helps connecting with people.
So at the family and friends party, do their kids call you sir still?
They do. Some of them do. Some of them do also. Some of them do.
Yes, it would be different to see that your
yes. So my opinion about my friends has changed about me, because the kids are in my school. So that's always a fun element to that.
Ma'am, what about you? Are you still in touch with those friends?
Yeah, so the friends, I have none of my school friends are in Chandigarh.
Okay.
So the last, in fact, the college that I attended was in Delhi. So all my college friends are in Delhi. So as far as my school friends are concerned, the last school I attended was Balbati Air Force School. So my friends are all over the world.
So are you still in
all
touch?
over the world? More on the virtual basis and sometimes an alumni meet. But beyond that, no.
And now I want to know, what kind of students were you? Were you the disciplined, the studious students, or the notorious kids? What kind of students?
I was all right. I was manageable. I was manageable.
Front bench or last bench?
Last bench. But I was all right in almost every area, right? And so it was all right. I'm a very unconscious kind of schooling, right? And everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own path, like just our school name. So I think my school journey was fairly quiet. Fairly quiet.
I was the nerdy one.
Okay.
I was always on the front bench, never ever broke any rules, always on the stage,
Okay.
doing very well at academics. And now I think of it, there was no fun. But when I became a teacher, I made sure my life was full of fun.
Okay.
I was totally opposite as a teacher to what I was as a student. And I was very, very different as a parent with my own children. Because I somehow I think I missed the fun as a student. I was just studying all the time.
What are you like with your family? So, especially for educators, what I've experienced is that they can't let that guard down. Uh, with the people I have interacted, a lot of teachers come from the family of teachers. Their parents were teachers, so they gain that respect for teaching profession. Then how do you deal with your children? Do your children, see that and inculcate those values from you?
So, so it's been a sea change over the years. And just recently I was recording a podcast for my own YouTube channel, and my daughter asked me this question. So the moment I started in a certain tone, she says, "Ma, drop that tone. Don't talk to me like a principal." So, but yes, over the years, I've just learned to be the same person every year. It wasn't the case initially. There were guards and there were certain ways I wanted to behave. But now if you see me at home, or you see me socializing in the evening with friends, or in school, in my office, in a class with a child, I believe I'm the same. I believe. However, maybe the tone of talking, it does vary.
It comes subconsciously.
Yes, but the belief system and what I feel and how I express is pretty much same right across. But it's taken me a while to get there.
Learning process,
yes.
Learning path.
Yes, it is my learning path. Yes.
What about you?
A good educator will start imbibing the values they talk. It sooner or later will happen if they are really passionate about education, and then it starts showing up in your conversations, your character, and then your formal and informal self will start merging. So that it is, but children see through you very fast.
Yeah.
Because you drop their guard down all the time with them. In school, it's still a little bit formal relationship, but children see through you very, very fast. They will cut out all the bullshit if you start doing so. And today, children are vocal. Yeah, children are vocal today.
They speak.
Yes, they know how to speak. You train them well.
About speaking, letting children speak their mind out. If we move towards that, obviously, over your years of experience, a lot of things have changed. And right now, the things that we are talking about, and they should be talking about, are inclusivity and inclusion of children with disabilities in school, inclusion of children with different gender identities in school. Have you ever, in your career span, come across children who have come to you and shared their personal experiences? Anything that, in confidence they have told you, and then how do you incorporate it into your education and teaching in school?
See, we are a 17-year-old school now. We have, a lot of our children have gone out to colleges and into professional life, right? So, and we do interact with them to get the informal feedback about how did they do in school, right? The learnings are often softer in nature, right? More nuanced, opinions, and sometimes it tells you that you've done the right thing, and sometimes it forces you to think that you need to make small changes in what you've done and what you need to do. Society is also changing, children are changing, right? Parents are changing, so you need feedback today from alumni, and those definitely help. Those definitely help, right? I have interacted with many alumni now, and sometimes they make a lot of sense, and sometimes the kind of feedback they will give you, your current students can't, because they have passed out and they've gone into professional and college life, and they'll talk about that how well or school prepared them for college life, right? So they will give you positive, negative things and things to improve. So that also is a learning.
They are an example of the person the human beings that you tried creating, and they are an example of what kind of a person
Right.
they are.
Yes.
What about you, ma'am?
Well, I think that's one quality that I'm gifted with. I connect very easily with children of every age group. And I've always had children come up to me and speak about their difficulties. And it has changed tremendously. Tremendously over the years. The difficulties that they talk about range from gender, identity, or their sexual preference, or their relationship issues, or their self-awareness, or sometimes even things that they don't agree with me. They come and discuss that with me completely. And it has been it's a beautiful journey, because I remember when I started my career way back in 1989, and there was a child in grade 8, and I was fresh out of college, full of brimming with that knowledge, and I tried to actually lift my hand at one child. He was in grade 8 and he held my hand there, and I was shocked. Well, that shaped my interactions with children of the future, that you got to hear them, you don't know what's coming from their side. And it's as a teacher first, and principal next, it's very important for me to hear them out. Just recently we had the school council. There were these 4 young ladies. They walked to my office and I asked them, why are you here? And we are the house captains and we want to hold the flags this year at March Past. So then the earlier me might have been, no, this is not acceptable, you can't be an activist, and just dismiss what they had to say. But this time I heard them. I said, why? What is it that you want? I heard them out. And though at my end I was trying to tell them, it's a story in your head that you feel that somebody who's holding a placard is anyway less than somebody who holds a flag. It's a story in your head. You rework that. But children today don't like to be brainwashed. They want to talk about, and this thing was a struggle for them. They were facing this. So I tried to divert their energy towards bigger issues. Like, I said, okay, you get you get your contingent to march better. That's the core issue for me. I want better language, better body language, and smarter marching. Your house captains. So you team up with the boys and you get them to march better. Then I shall consider your request. Earlier, I would have simply said, no, this is not acceptable. It's a norm of the school. We're not going to look at it again. And they might walk back. But adolescents in particular are very, very resentful of a no that goes their way. You have to give them a fair hearing, and they will dare to differ from you. And somewhere they're not completely wrong.
They have their own frame of mind, opinions that they are building, so they want to discuss it with obviously the people they look up to. So one more thing, apart from your roles in education, I want to know if you think that you weren't an educator, if you weren't a leader, what kind of profession would you choose for yourself?
I am an entrepreneur at heart. I do other things than school. I have a couple of my other business interests in non-education areas. So I think I'm doing what I want to do.
Okay. What about you, ma'am?
So I've switched roles in between. I've been an entrepreneur. I started with teaching. Then I've been an entrepreneur, and then I came back to teaching.
Okay.
But this time I brought back learnings of being an entrepreneur to my teaching profession. I think I'm just whole soul, mind, body, soul, a teacher. I'm just that. And I can't really think of an alternative. Yeah, maybe like an educator who's who's managing to reach out to many more children, doing many more things. So that's my calling. I know that.
Nice.
Yeah.
What brings you joy? Of course, we know that the typical answer would have been my profession, my children, the students I interact with. Obviously, that's a given since you have been here and it's your calling. But what else gives you joy? What else makes you happy? For some people, it might be cooking. For some people, it might be singing. Any particular thing that makes you feel at love and peace with yourself? What would that be?
For me, sports, any sort of sporting activity is very calm for me, and I would do that again and again, just to keep myself balanced and emotionally fine.
What about you, man?
Yeah, I love dancing. Dancing gives me a lot of joy. I love to be in nature. I love to be there by myself, watching the mountains or the trees or the sunrise. And one thing that gives me deep joy is any form of art, in particular if it's created by children.
We are surrounded by that right now.
Yeah, I guess. I guess. So that brings joy, and that brings tears to my eyes. Tears of joy.
So one last question before we head off. The question that I wanted to ask, and I've been asking it to a lot of educators, is one book or a film. I see that you believe in Vasudev Kutumbakam. You've spoken about it. You've written about it as well. Something that a book or a quote, or you can say a series or a film, any piece of content that you think that every student or every child should watch, read, or know about, what would it be?
I think for me, Wings of Fire, APJ Abdul Kalam. I think. I mean, yeah.
That's your recommendation. What about you?
So there is a series that I'm watching on Netflix. It's called Red Sox Comeback Series. I think that series talks about things like resilience, coming back, teamwork, right? And like, it's just the latest I think which has really re-influenced me as a person.
I'll add it to my watch list.
Yes, it is a much watched, but you need to read about the comeback before you see the movie.
Okay.
So it'll make the series much more meaningful. So there's a history behind that comeback. The Red Sox won that tournament after like 86 years. So it's American baseball. So you have to understand the context a little bit, but the values of that movie, comeback, resilience, teamwork, the team came back when everything was lost.
Okay.
Right? So it's a very inspiring movie, and something, those values I associate with generally.
Nice. So then thank you for both your recommendations.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time as well. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes,
Yes, immensely.
Yes, we did.
Immensely.
Yes, we did.
Thank you.